On this episode of Survive and Thrive 8791, I welcome Avree Antony to the Buck and Honey's remote studios. Antony, a standout athlete whose basketball dreams took an unexpected turn after earning 19 Division I scholarship offers. A devastating knee injury changed everything. Through surgeries, setbacks, and one life-altering decision to medically retire, Avree shares her powerful story of resilience, identity, and rediscovering purpose beyond the game. This will be a good one. Here we go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. What is up wherever you are or whatever you are doing? I hope you're having a great day. Welcome to another episode of Survive and Thrive 8791. I'm your host, Coach Decora. We are in the Buck and Honey's remote studios on the east side of our great capital city of Madison, Wisconsin. You can listen to the podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, and YouTube at Survive and Thrive 8791. You can follow the podcast and get access to previous episodes on Facebook at Survive and Thrive 8791. The podcast. Don't forget to hit that follow or subscribe button wherever you listen to the show. Leave me a comment if you liked what you heard. If there's a topic or you know a guest who would love to share their story, email me at tdecora@gmail.com. Glad you could join us. Our mission is to share stories and conversations that make you cry, laugh, and think, stimulating emotions, creating laughter, and inspiring the mind. A new episode will air on Monday and Thursday morning featuring a wide range of guests. The podcast will touch on many subjects such as, but not limited to, grief, loss of a loved one, recovery, professional setback, mental illness, success despite challenges, etc. Our guests will share how they learn to survive and thrive. Before I introduced our esteemed guest today, I'd like to highlight our website, surviveandthrive8791.com. You can see what we are doing at Survive and Thrive 8791 and the events we are hosting. If you're a business or an advocate of mental health and recovery, we invite you to partner with us through sponsorship opportunities. Please contact us at surviveandthrive8791 at gmail.com. This is our guest and episode intro. According to the internet, and the internet is always right, correct, Avree?
I would say the internet, it depends on what you're talking about. Most of the time, I think it is. But I also am always making sure that I'm double checking on my facts.
Double check those facts and sources. Well, this might apply to you someday in the future, but I don't need the internet. I don't need Google. I don't need Alexa. I don't need any of those people. I have my wife, Sarah, and she is always right. LOL. According to an AI, artificial intelligence overview, there isn't a precise annual statistic for the number of NCAA Division I athletes who medically retire, but estimates suggest that between 14 and 32% of competitive athletes are forced to retire due to career-ending injuries. Today's guest made that difficult decision. Today, I welcome Avree Antony to the Buck and Honey's remote studios. Avree grew up in Sun Prairie, Wisconsin, and attended Sun Prairie West High School and is a proud Wolf. After 19 scholarship offers, Avree would take her talents to Colorado State University in Fort Collins, Colorado, and join the Rams women's basketball team. Her career would be cut short. Today, I'm so glad you could join us. Avree Antony, what is up?
What's up? Thank you for having me.
Oh,
I'm super excited.
Yeah, this is so cool. I mean, we'll get into a little bit about where we connected and certainly the connecting figure in between, the kind of the synapse between you and I, and it's one that we both enjoy, probably you a little more than me, but so we're filming on the 4th of November here. How has the fall been treating you so far?
Pretty good. I would say fall is really close to summer for my second favorite season. Mm-hmm. I love football. I love Thanksgiving and stuff like that. So I would say the fall's pretty good. October is a pretty tough month for school, so I'm slightly excited that that's over, but it's going pretty good. I'm really enjoying it.
Do you get back to Sun Prairie much? I know you're splitting some time between Fort Collins and New York City, which we'll talk about in a little bit, but do you get back to Sun Prairie much?
Yeah, I do. I try to go. It's tough with going to New York and stuff and not like missing class and stuff. But I try to go back for special occasions. I'll for sure be there for Christmas. And then after school, I'll go there in May usually. And then, yeah. So with basketball and stuff, it was hard to get back home. But I do try to go back for special occasions and little surprises here and there.
Yeah, you got that direct flight out of Denver right to Madison, makes it easy. And then also it's a hard pull. I mean, Fort Collins, you got the backdrop. I've been there for a football game, and the backdrop behind the press box area has got that beautiful view of the Rockies. I mean, it's got to be hard to leave there once in a while. Yeah,
no, definitely. It's definitely something that I probably take for granted sometimes. I forget that I'm literally in one of the most beautiful states. So I thank you for the reminder.
Yes. I did have a conversation, and I want to maybe check with you and see what you think, but I had a friend of mine who moved out there and actually was living in Fort Collins, and I said, what do you like better, living here and growing up in Wisconsin? And he said, well, I might be show my bias a little bit, but he said, I love Wisconsin better and the scenery there because it's right there. Anytime you got to go and see something here in Colorado, you got to drive to get there. What do you think?
I personally am not like a big hiker, which I know people love in Colorado. So I will personally choose Madison because I love Madison. Probably extremely biased, but I just think it has a little bit of everything, and it's so pretty and fun, and there's so much to do, especially in the summer. So I'm a Madison girl at heart.
Yes, you are, and yes, I am as well. Before we get to our your story, I need to talk about our sponsor. Our sponsor, Buck and Honey's Restaurants, are a place that people can escape to. For me, it's a great escape from cooking dinner. Do you cook dinner, or do you cook?
Well, hopefully Braylon doesn't listen to this because he's going to think that I should say no to this question. But at school, I try to really be specific on what I'm putting into my body, especially with being an athlete before and just transitioning my life. I'm very strict with what I do at school. So usually I'll just make like very protein heavy meals with vegetables and stuff. So I wouldn't say I'm like cooking some gourmet meal, but I'll put together a good healthy meal.
Yeah, you're getting the basics down. So with their great food and drink menu, 5-star customer service, and welcoming and vibrant atmosphere, people keep coming back with locations in Sun Prairie, Monona, Wanakee, and Mount Horeb. Most communities in Dane County, which encompasses the Madison metropolitan area, can get to a Buck and Honey's within 10 to 15 minutes. And I get a little drum roll here. Have you been to Buck and Honey's? I know this is a no-brainer.
Of course.
Of course.
A staple. Every time I step my foot into the state of Wisconsin, I have to go and I have to get my Chipotle chicken pasta every time.
Ooh, chicken pasta. I like it. Well, next time you go, try the Bomber Special Pizza. I've been eating that since 1984. I'm good friends with the owner, and I knew his dad who owned a restaurant, so try the pizza next time. On the podcast, our guests follow the format for sharing their story like this. In segment 1, we talk about what was it like, Avree's history, what happened to get Avree on the podcast. And in segment 2, we continue to talk about what happened and get into what it's like now. And we discuss Avree's 5 suggestions for thriving. You grew up in Sun Prairie, Wisconsin. Much different. I've actually had another Sun Prairie guest on here over the summer. Much different than when I was younger. It was a smaller community, but has exploded in population. What was life like growing up for Avree Antony in Sun Prairie, Wisconsin?
I loved it. I thought it was so cool. We could go to Madison if we wanted and hang out, go to the lake. But if you wanted to stay in, then you could also just stay in the backyard and have a campfire. That was one of my favorite things to do with my friends growing up, is just hang outside, do stupid things in the backyard, play games. And also, my favorite thing about Sun Prairie is having the Prairie Athletic Club like 3 minutes from our house, because I could not go a day without working out with my dad at the Prairie Athletic Club, because I thought I was never going to achieve my goals if I didn't. So I'm very thankful for that. And then just growing up with an amazing family and playing sports with my friends my whole childhood just made it amazing.
Yeah, hopefully we can get Sun Prairie to get some sponsorship going here. But yeah, I've been there several times, and probably to keep up with the population growth in Sun Prairie, they kept growing. I remember that when that was one building, and then the racquetball club, the racquetball courts, and then they added on the gym, and then certainly now they've got the outdoor water park. So pretty crazy stuff. Tell us about your family growing up, mom and dad, and some siblings.
My parents got divorced when I was little, and ever since then they are still like best friends. We have like holidays together, birthdays together, and then my mom's side, I have 2 younger siblings, and they're twins. One's a boy and one's a girl. Ooh. And they are 16, and they both attend Sun Prairie West as well. And then on my dad's side, I have a stepsister as well, and she had her first kid, and he just turned 1.
Oh, so you're Aunt Avree now.
I'm an auntie, yes.
Those are the best when you can be an aunt or an uncle, and I'm a grandparent now, so yeah, they are awesome.
No, I love the auntie era.
And then you're probably being a little bit of a mentor, big sister to your twin siblings as well.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. And we're closer than we ever have been, which sucks because I obviously don't live at home anymore. But I think as they get older, it's just so much better that we can like lean on each other and maturing, and it's the best.
Yes, awesome. You have a significant other who is rather significant in the Madison and Fond du Lac areas. Tell us who that significant other is.
His name is Braylon Allen. We have been together for 4.5 years now, which is crazy. Like, I haven't said that out loud in a while. We unfortunately met over Instagram. I saw a video of him cleaning, and I was like, oh, okay, that's crazy. And then whatever,
and that
Instagram,
would be
blah, blah.
That would be hang cleaning, right? Not cleaning the floors or sinks or windows.
Sorry.
Yes, hang cleaning.
Cleaning the sinks is my job now. but yeah, we met over Instagram, and then that was in April before he went to campus in June his freshman year.
Okay.
And then ever since he got to campus, we just been inseparable and have been together ever since, being each other's biggest supporters through all the ups and downs of this crazy athlete world.
Well, you had mentioned that you are in New York City right now, and you're doing this interview, and he's going through some physical stuff as well, and there's no better person to lean on for him than somebody who's been down that path before. How are you helping him out?
Yeah, he's somebody that literally wants to be able to go like the next day. So this whole knee thing for him was, I would say, new, which obviously I've had some experiences with that. I feel like I could rehab it myself. But I've just had to remind him, like, this is a day-by-day process, and you're not going to go from your knee being super swollen to stiff arming somebody the next day. Like, it's a process, and you just have to keep that in the back of your mind that you're not behind and stuff like that. It takes time, and there's going to be good days and there's going to be bad days. So I'm just trying to install that in his brain, because I know it can be hard to think that way when you're going through something like that.
Yeah, trust the process, and some people heal faster than others, and some people take a little longer. It's just, listen to your body. And of course, you have those experiences. So you graduated from Sun Prairie West High School in Sun Prairie, Wisconsin, and you're a proud Wolf. I know we're going to talk about the sports stuff here, but what were some of your favorite non-sports memories in high school?
I would say the split school thing was very interesting because, well, we were all combined. I didn't know everyone whatsoever at school. And so when my senior year, when we split, I just met so many new people at school just because I was like, wait, I've been going to school with you for 4 years. Like, that's crazy. I've never seen you in my life. So I think that was one of the coolest aspects for me about it. And also I love like prom and stuff, just getting dressed up and getting away from the athlete world and doing something different was always so fun. And then I know this is sports related, but a positive that came with the whole knee situation was me and my dad my senior year, went to all of Braylon's football games, like away games, like all around the Big Ten. We went to Michigan State, Ohio State, so that was a cool aspect of my high school experience as well that I'll never forget.
Yeah, I'm going to go back for a second here. So Sun Prairie, Wisconsin had one school all the way up through your junior year, and that would have been what give us a timeline of when that junior year was.
That was 2022.
2022, and then through referendum and voting and maybe parent feedback, they decided to split that big community of about 36,000 people into two schools. We had Sun Prairie West, which was the new school that they built on the west side of town, and Sun Prairie East was the existing school. How did you learn which school you were going to go to?
I always went off my dad's address for school, and we were farther on that side, so it wasn't really like a unknown for me when this happened. Like, I was definitely on that side, which I was happy about because my friends were going to be going there too, and the basketball team was looking more positive on that side.
Sure.
Which I was concerned about for a second there because we had some people that were in the middle. But I would say for the most part on my end, I had a clear view of what school I was going to be going to, and I didn't know how to feel about it, to be honest, at first. But
and it worked out good, and it always works out. And you just spoke of some of the positive experiences you had there, and I think you would have had those at East as well, but you happen to be at West. So after high school, you would take your talents to Colorado State University and join the Rams women's basketball team. You had 19 scholarship offers. Who was in your final three?
This was definitely difficult, but my final three was Colorado State, Butler, and Illinois State.
And two of those would have been right here in the Midwest, a little bit easier to get to. Butler in Indianapolis.
I didn't want to go far away from home at all, actually. And so those were schools that I knew were competitive and were like going to win. And with Butler being in the Big East, the high major D1 school, I wanted to play at the highest level possible. And Illinois State was my first offer in 8th grade. And so they always had a special place in my heart as well. But when I went to Colorado State, my dad was like, come on, let's just go look. I was like, fine, it's far. But when I got there, I was like, I can't not go here only because of the distance. I was like, that's silly. When I'm 20 years old, I'm going to regret that. And so I loved the team. It was beautiful there. The coaches believed in me. It was just a bunch of these things, and I couldn't ignore that.
And you couldn't ignore the scenery, certainly.
Yes, exactly. That's like right in your face.
So you're working towards a degree in communication studies with a minor in media studies. Can you see the end of the tunnel, graduation?
Yes, I think I finally can. Last year, I convinced myself that I saw the light at the end of the tunnel as well, but that was not true. But this time, I feel like in literally a year and a half from now, I'll be done. So I'm trying to soak in every moment and not take it for granted and just keep working hard in the classroom. It's been a lot lately. The semester was pretty hard, but I'm excited for what post-grad holds for me. And yeah, I think I can finally see the light at the end of the tunnel. I'm
going to ask you an interview question. So brace yourself. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Oh, dear.
Oh, boy.
Well, post-grad, I will move to New York, and there are so many opportunities here. I've been heavily in, like, the social media world, unfortunately, like TikTok, whatever. There's so many opportunities within that, as well as I have started doing some modeling things, and then I also love marketing aspects of social media. So I'm hoping that there will be an opportunity in New York that presents itself to me since I'm right here. And hopefully that involves my life in the next 5 years.
Yeah, you've got a lot of options when you go to New York City, and yes. I wish you all the best. And hopefully in 5 years we can say, hey, Avree, can you come on the episode since you're on this show, you're doing this, or you're walking the runway, go back to where it all started. We can have you back in 5 years. I'm getting all giddy for that.
That's the plan.
Yes, that's the plan. Let's back up for a bit. So I know your dad, Ryan, and he reached out probably a month and a half or 2 months ago and mentioned that your story would, I think, match Survive and Thrive 8791's mission. And after I thought about it, I'm like, absolutely. And having had some contact and interaction with you, be it when you were a little bit younger, a little bit older, I knew who you were and figured this would be a great fit. I'm not sure when your dad and I met, but for sure started conversing with him during your youth years, and you guys had an amazing team. I'm thinking, holy smokes, this team is gonna do great stuff. They were great. You mentioned some memories of your YBA, the Youth Basketball Association in Sun Prairie. You want to talk about what was so special about when you were young?
Yes. We had an unreal team. It was us and Kimberly every single year at state and stuff. And so it was always just waiting every year to play Kimberly to see who was going to win. And me, Marie Outlay, and Antony Gostin, we called ourselves the three-headed monster. We were all, Marie was the sniper. Antony was literally unreal when we were younger, and everyone watched her and was just like, you're kidding me. And then I feel like we all just came together, and we were pretty good. I'll say we were pretty good. So it was super fun to just grow up literally 4th grade until 8th grade and just balling with my best friends and getting better every year.
Yeah, I remember I was coaching at the time. You got into high school, and I remember going to watch you and your Sun Prairie team, the Cardinals, when you guys were one team, and you guys played at Memorial, and I remember having the camera and just videotaping, and we were going to, getting a scouting report on. I don't think we were scouting you, but we were scouting Memorial. And you had a, great promise and great freshman, sophomore, and junior year, and you guys are kind of rolling with some, great record and great play. And then February 26, 2022 rolls around. Tell us kind of leading up to that, and then tell us what happened on that day.
Yeah, I had a fun high school career my freshman and sophomore year. We did fall short in the tournament both those years, but I obviously learned so much from that time, and I was ready to go junior year. I was like, okay, I'm an upperclassman now. Let's go. We're going to state this year. And then we were in the tournament. It was the regional final, and there was like 4 minutes left in the game. You're up like 15, and I did a hip across, jump stop, and went up for the layup. And then I heard a pop, and I knew what had happened. So, yeah, that was difficult right in the moment just because I knew exactly what that was.
I think I remember hearing that. I don't know if it was, Twitter or somewhere along the line. And then I remember sending a text message to your dad, and I said, what happened? And he kind of confirmed the initial news, and I was thinking about him, and then certainly thinking about you that's terrible. Having had a daughter who did the same thing in college, it's the initial shock and whatnot with an ACL tear is traumatic. I mean, obviously for you because it happened to you, but also, parents and siblings and teammates and coaches, it kind of has a, shock wave. That usually involves about a 9-month recovery, and you would miss your senior year. What was the recovery like, in case we've got some listeners now that are going through this for the first time? Explain your recovery.
Yeah, so right when it happened, I had knew what this meant. I hadn't seen it firsthand, but Marty Stry actually is really good, a family friend of ours, and he played for the Badgers. And
former football player, yeah.
Yes, had gone through all this, so I was talking to him a little bit about it when it first happened, and I knew it was going to be hard, but what it actually turned out to be was much harder than what I thought, just because of like what kept happening. I thought that it was just going to be like not smooth sailing, but I didn't think that there would be as much of a setback as I had. My dad was always there for me through this process, and as well as my family, and just, even though I was maybe a little mean at sometimes, because I was like, everyone, I'm fine. But I know from the heart they were just trying to help me, and it's hard knowing now that like what Braylon's going through too. It's even harder like being on the outside of it than even being the person that's going through it, because you just want to help. And so I would wake up at 5 a.m. and do my bending every day, because that was something I fell behind on really early. I had issues with my cartilage. And so I would elevate my knee on chairs at school. People would look at me like I'm insane. And then I would go to rehab after school at the hospital. My dad would take me there every day. And then I just wanted to prove myself right. I didn't want to prove anything else other than that, because I knew very early I was starting to fall behind because of my cartilage, and I was just like blocking me from bending my knee, as well as doing classes. There was like an ACL rehab class that you could do that you did with other people that had the same issues. And so that was super cool to like be around a group of people that you guys are all working towards the same thing. Walking
down the same path with each other.
Yeah, exactly. And so basically it was all that for 9 months straight, and getting through all the different phases and working every day on something as stupid as like learning how to walk or bending my knee past 90 degrees.
So I'm looking at my notes here, and that occurred on February 26th. And usually you got to have the MRI scan and a few other things, and then they want to strengthen your leg before surgery. I'm looking at probably maybe beginning of 2023. Was there a thought that you were going to make it back for some of your senior year, or what was the thought process there?
I would say in maybe October of 2022, I did have that thought in the back of my mind, because I knew we were very good. I knew the schools had just split. I wanted like our revenge tour. Like people were downplaying us because we had split. And so I really wanted to come back, but I did know what my future had ahead of me in a short, less than a year ahead of that, which was playing Division I basketball. So I did want to, and I had to play it by ear, but in October of that year, I did have to get another surgery. And then in January, I got a cortisone shot to try to basically numb the pain, because I was just seeing if I could do anything at that point. So once I got to January, I would say no, it wasn't realistic, just because I had just got another surgery in October, but it was a thought in the back of my mind early in my rehab process.
So I think you're speaking of some optimism there, and you're doing everything you can. You have another surgery, maybe a little bit of a setback, and then let's try the cortisone shot and see what that does in January, hoping that maybe you can come back for that revenge tour and your split schools. But yeah, you make that decision, probably with some help from your surgeon and your doctor and certainly your family, and you decided to pull the plug on the senior year. Because our listeners want to hear the rest of your story and what brought you to the podcast, I need to talk about the sponsor one more time. Buck and Honey's has been with the Survive and Thrive 8791 crew since the beginning, with 4 locations in the Madison area. One is always near. People ask why Buck and Honey's owner, Tom Anderson, places a high priority on the mental health of his employees. He has a mental health professional available for them should they need support. I don't know how many businesses go above and beyond their EAP, Employee Assistance Program, but Buck and Honey's does. Avree Antony would earn a full scholarship to Colorado State University in Fort Collins, Colorado, fulfilling a dream that she worked so hard to achieve. Her high school and college careers would be cut short by injuries. You'll hear how she managed and how she wants to use her experiences to help other athletes who might experience what she has gone through. Please stay tuned. Don't change that channel. You're not going to want to miss segment 2 of Survive and Thrive 8791. We will be back.
If you, a loved one, or someone you know is experiencing a physical, mental, or emotional crisis, there is help and resources out there. Contact NAMI, the National Alliance on Mental Illness Helpline, at 1-800-950-6264. This is a free service providing information, resource referrals, and support to people living with a mental illness, their family, providers, and the public. United Way 211 is available 24/7, 365 and offers free confidential assistance. They connect people with the local programs and services that can help. Dial 211. Emergency Crisis Services, dial 911. The Suicide Prevention Lifeline, dial 988. To connect via web, chat, visit suicidepreventionlifeline.org. Along with those numbers, there is help. You just need to say 3 words. I need help. Now, back to the show.
We are back. Welcome back to segment 2 of Survive and Thrive 8791. I'm your host, Coach Tim DeCora. We are in the Buck and Honey's remote studios on the east side of our great capital city of Madison, Wisconsin. The podcast is where we feature guests who share their story in hopes of helping others who may be struggling with what life throws at them. Today, I'm glad to be joined via phone in the Buck and Honey's remote studios by Avree Antony. She's here to share her story about how her basketball career was cut short and what it's like to get through that time in her life. You narrow your 19 scholarship offers down to 3: Colorado State University, Butler University, and Illinois State University. You sign your national letter of intent to attend Colorado State in Fort Collins and would arrive in the summer of 2023. You mentioned before we set this whole thing up that you were talking about graduation. You want to share with the folks how you would end up in Fort Collins very quickly?
Yes. So I had graduation on June 8th, 2023, and report date for workouts was June 9th. And so right after my dad heard my name called, because I'm early because my last name starts with an A, he got in my car and drove my car to Colorado. And then after graduation the next day, I flew out to Colorado and met him there.
He got the short end of the straw on that one, I think.
Yep,
16 or 17 hour car ride, and you had the 2-hour airplane ride.
Hey, he offered.
He made his own bet on that one.
That of the year.
So you get out there, you start going through your workouts, kind of talk about anything that may have popped up at all with once you set foot in Fort Collins.
Yeah. So I was still slightly limited contact-wise when I reported in June from the surgery that I got in that past October.
Mm-hmm.
And so after the cortisone shot in January, I was like, okay, I'm starting to feel good. And so I was doing, I was cutting, running, jumping. And then we have workouts all of June and then all of July. And then that year we were going to Spain in August, which usually we would have August off. And so I was like, okay, games are playing in Spain. That is my time. I can finally get cleared to play my first games since my ACL surgery in Spain. I was like, how cool. Freshman year of college. I can get my jitters out before freshman season starts. I can see how we play, how it flows. And then about 10 days leading up to Spain, we were getting done with practice. We were doing our contact days, and I was finally doing contact. And every day after, my knee was so swollen. I couldn't straighten it. I couldn't walk after practice. And so I would just do hours and hours of rehab every day after practice so I could be ready for the next day. And then it just kept happening for about the whole 10 days leading up to Spain. And so I decided to get an MRI with my surgeon recommended. It's like, all right, fine. Fine. And so honestly, at this point, I don't even remember what was wrong because I've lost track at this point. And I was just like, you know what, just go in there and do what you got to do and so you can fix it. He's like, okay. And so I got told that I wasn't going to play in Spain because there was obviously something torn and can't play with a torn knee. I wasn't even a freshman yet. And so I got surgery when we came back from Spain. And then, so in Spain, we played like 3 games, and I was really just hanging out, really, and I tried to do some of the shoot-arounds and stuff, but that obviously wasn't going to happen either. And so then when I got back from Spain, the week before my freshman year of college, I got another surgery, which then I was told that I should redshirt my freshman year.
Mm-hmm. And that's kind of the common thing, really, is freshmen get there and they're maybe use a year to get acclimated to the program, to the system, how college works. And unfortunately, in your case, you had this lingering knee stuff going on, and then had to go under the knife again in August of 2023. You come back then to practice and are performing well on the scout team near the end of the 23-24 season, and you're looking forward to your second season. It'd be your first competitively before the swelling comes back again. Talk about that.
Yeah, so after that surgery in August, I would say right when we came back from our one day of Christmas break, I was feeling good, and I finally was participating in scout team. So my first scout was New Mexico State. I remember this so clearly. And that was always my favorite scout because they played just how I play. Mm-hmm. Like, it was just attack the rim, nobody stopping you, just get to the rim, basically. And so I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And so I was like, great. That whole season from conference January to March, I was feeling the best I ever have, to be honest. And I was like, okay, this is the right direction. This is what I've been wanting. It was good timing. I was like, the season's almost over. I've made it through this part. And then we went home for summer, and I was visiting Braylon in New York, and I was just going to the gym by his house. And I started to feel something that was familiar that wasn't very good. And here we go again. My knee started swelling up. I couldn't get it down. I would try to ice every day, blah, blah. And so my trainer told me like 10 days before we went back to campus to just like let it be, don't do anything. And then she'll check it out when I get there. Okay, then when I went back to school in July, after the 4th of July, I had to get another MRI because I think the same thing was happening again, which turned out I was right. And then fast forward to when school starts, I was trying to just get back to even doing a mini squat, and it just felt like this very sharp pain, and I couldn't even squat past 90 degrees. And then I had a conversation with my surgeon in the middle of October, and he was like, okay, there's 2 ways we can go about this. We can either have a further conversation about what I think your future should look like and what I think is smartest to do, coming from like a father figure of like advice and longevity and just being able to live like a healthy lifestyle, or you can see how these next 2 weeks go and basically hope for a miracle. And so I was like, well, of course I'm gonna take the miracle. So I decided to see how the next 2 weeks went of trying different rehab like machines and doing stim and all different types of technology, and it did not work. So then I had a conversation with my surgeon on November 2nd of 2024, and he told me that he thinks the smartest decision for me was to medically retire so I can be a normal college kid, be able to walk up the stairs, be able to carry my kids when I'm older, and just be able to like work out and be able to walk when I'm like 30, basically, is how it went down.
You know, I call that blind faith moment that I give you a tremendous amount of credit, and I'm a bit inspired by your ability to make a 30 or 40 year old decision when you're about 21 or 20 or 21 years old, that you had to fast forward and look into, you already said it, when I'm having my own kids, when I want to work out, when I want to enjoy my 30s and 40s and run around and still do things, you had to make a tough decision to medically retire. Since the show has a mental health component to it, after you made that tough decision, what were the first minutes, hours, days like after you said, I think I'm going to medically retire?
Honestly, I would say the days even before that were probably the hardest, because this had been stuff that was happening for so long that every day I was going to practice, I would just think like, oh my God, another day of doing mini squats. Like, I'm so over mini squats. And so after this had happened, I just literally sat in my car and I didn't even think I haven't had an emotion. I was just like, now what? Like, what does this mean? What do I even think about it? What happens now? Like, I had so many questions almost. Mm-hmm. And it was also like a crucial time in the season where I didn't know how I wanted to be involved with the team, or I don't know. I needed to stay focused in school because finals were coming up, and there was just so many things going on where I was like almost emotionless in a sense. Like, I didn't even know what to think or feel.
So you're sitting in your car, you're on your couch in your apartment, and it sounds like you were a little bit numb. I mean, you knew
I was in denial almost.
You had all of these things going on, and fortunately you got a great head on your shoulders. Parents did a great job, your coaches, and kind of semi-prepared, but at the same time you aren't, because you didn't know what to think, you didn't know what to feel. You were numb.
Yeah. And then I would say like a week after that, they gave me time I did go to New York to see Braylon for Thanksgiving to just clear my mind, so that helped a lot. And then when I came back, they were like, do you want to stay with the team and like do stuff? And I went to practice and stuff, and I just didn't love the way that I felt when I was watching. It was just really hard to watch people do what I thought I wanted to do, in a sense, which it seems like selfish in a way, but it's just how I felt. I couldn't control it. And so it's like talking to the therapist that we have for our team, and that's one thing I would say is, if you have someone to talk to, you should definitely talk to them, even though if you think it's pointless or you don't think it'll help or you don't want to. I think that would be my number one piece of advice, is to just talk to somebody that's like an outside source, like not a family member, nothing. So he can give you their heartfelt opinion about it. And he was like, if you don't feel comfortable or it doesn't make you happier watching, then you shouldn't. And so I was like, you're right. So I took some time away and went home for Christmas break as well and spent time with family. So it was definitely a lot, but I did choose to not stay around the basketball world during that time because I just felt like it wasn't making anything better for me.
Mm-hmm. Well, I got a couple of questions here because somebody might be wondering. The first one would be, are you still on scholarship? I know I've heard different situations of something like this happens and you're still with the team, but they make you work and do something with the team to keep you involved, or you chose not to because it's something you've done all your life, and when you have that taken away, I can see why you might want to completely step away. Does Colorado State University still have you on scholarship?
Yes, it is a rule that, since it was out of my control, that they had to keep my scholarship, which I'm very, 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 very thankful for. And I do hope one day that maybe I can be in that space and be happy and like want that for myself. But I also don't want to force it on myself either, because standing here a year later, I am more content with the fact that that's not a part of my life, but obviously it still hurts, but I'm like I have things that I have goals for that are outside of basketball now, whereas before I didn't, which was even scarier.
You kind of already answered the question I was just going to ask, is when did you feel like you made it through the hardest part of your decision? Was it that winter break? Was it the spring? Was it the summer?
I would probably say summer, because at first everyone was like, are you going to be with the team? Are you going to be with the team? Are you going to be with the team? And that was the question that stressed me out the most because I wanted to be, but I didn't want to be at the same time, like just because of how it made me feel. So that question was something that I literally thought about for months and months and months and months. And so the summer is when I finally came to conclusion that I need to do what's best for myself and not like want to please other people or be around the team because other people want me to. And that's something that my therapist helped me a lot with. So I would say by the summer, I felt more at ease and content with doing what I felt was best for myself.
Well put. What is Avree Antony doing now?
Right now, I am finishing my degree, obviously, and I started doing some modeling things, which is something I've always wanted to do but couldn't because of basketball. So I thought that this was a great opportunity to start my dreams in that aspect, which I didn't plan to do it until after college, but obviously I started that earlier. And again, being in New York, there's so many opportunities, and as well as Denver, there's two big cities that have so many opportunities for literally anything. And so just trying to figure out what my why is outside of basketball is something else me and my therapist really worked hard on discovering, because as athletes, it's common to not know that. Like, you literally only breathe, sleep, eat, and work out. And so that has been super good for me to figure out. And I've also been able to figure out how to run. Cutting was the issue for me during basketball, so running in a straight line is fine to an extent. And so I have been wanting to maybe get into like a half marathon next spring or something, just setting little goals for myself, like in the businessy model world, as well as still competing in some type of way.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing where life takes Avree Antony, because even though I was kind of from a rival school, Wanakee, and you were in Sun Prairie, I still, and because of my relationship with your dad, I always had kind of a hoping that things went well for you, and was wondering, asking your dad, how's Avree, where's she going? Who's recruiting? And then, when this happened, certainly bummed about the whole thing, but I think the sky's the limit. So I'm cheering for you from afar. This is where the subscribers, followers, and listeners take out the notebooks, pens, and pencils and jot some things down. Here are Avree Antony's 5 suggestions that have allowed her to survive and thrive after medically retiring from college athletics. So here's what you shared. And I'm going to toss these in underhand, softball style. And you are a former softball player, right? So you should be able to rip, sit back in your stance and rip. You give this ball a rip, right?
Yes, for sure.
Yes, for gosh darn sure. Okay. So I'm going to toss these in underhand softball style. I'm going to say go ahead and hit that in about 60 seconds or less. And here's what you shared, and I'm going to read these to you, and then I'll say go ahead and hit that. Number 1, let yourself feel every single emotion. Don't downplay the way you feel during the healing process, because it's something that's really hard. Go ahead and hit that.
I would say that this was a very important aspect for me because me personally, I would downplay my emotions. Like, for example, do you want to be involved with the team question? That was really something that bothered me every single day because of the guilt I felt. But this is the exact statement that helped me get through that, about how it's valid the way that I'm feeling, and it's valid of the way that I don't want to watch basketball front and center every single day for hours, because that's just been taken away from me.
Well said. Number 2, lean on the resources around you. You said you were terrified to do therapy and found it helped you so much to have an educated person to vent to. And it was so helpful in the long run. Go ahead and hit that.
This is something that I was also in denial about. My trainer was like, we have Ross here, and he is very, very smart, and obviously went to school to be this person for this exact situation. And so I was like, fine. And I talked to Ross, and there was a lot of tears for weeks and weeks and weeks and months. And eventually I came to the sense that he taught me so much about myself and about how to cope within the situation and how to go about it and how I can basically do it my way because I'm the one living it. And that is something that was very hard for me to do. But when I came to terms with it, that I'm doing this for Avree, then there was so much more purpose and comfort with the actions I was taking.
I really like you being vulnerable and said there was a lot of tears. I mean, some people look at high school and college elite athletes like yourself, that you're bulletproof, that you're stronger than nails. But the fact that you just said it was terrifying and you had some tears, I think that may lead to one or two people listening to the podcast and saying, you know what, if she can do it and she was big time, I think I can do the same thing. Number 3, focus on the things that are in your control. You mentioned situations like this are completely out of human control, and you knew you could control what you did during the rehab process. This approach helped you feel good after you had to step away as well. So focus on things that are in your control. Go ahead and hit that.
Yeah, this is also something hard when things keep going wrong over and over and over again, and you're doing everything that you're supposed to be doing, and as well as like seeing other people get success through it, like almost being jealous in an aspect of like seeing people tear their ACL after I did, and then going back and doing better and doing so many great things in their season while I'm recovering from my 3rd surgery or whatever. And so this is the part where this really came in handy, because I'm doing everything that I possibly can, and I'm just being dealt with different cards than them, and that's okay, which can just lead me to doing different things in life. And so as I had to step away, I had to look like, what do I want to attack next? Because this didn't work out for me. It's not the end of the world. It's going to be fine, which is where the modeling and social media part came into, where I can find joy within these things, and it's what I genuinely like to do, and I can still accomplish amazing things through these things.
One door, I like to think of that as one door closed, and this opened up another couple of other doors that may have not been there before. So
yes.
Number 4, remember your worth isn't tied to your sport. There are endless things out there for you to explore. You are also a friend, daughter, or son, student, and all those things matter so much more, and I really like that. Go ahead and hit that.
Yes, this is also something that I had to like put my mature pants on for, and realize that the sport wasn't going to last forever anyways, and although it was cut like 4 years short and I didn't get to achieve my dream of actually playing, I still achieved my dream of playing a Division I sport, like technically. And so I had to know that when I stopped playing basketball, like if I took away basketball from my life, I'm not just air. Like, I'm still Avree. I still have goals. I still have a worth. And you still have so many other things to look forward in your life, especially being so young. And so being able to separate the athlete aspect to who I actually am as a person, those two things like don't come as one. It's separate, and to why you're able to explore so many things when your sport is done, even though it seems like the world is basically ending when it gets taken away from you.
Yeah, that's very well said. You peel away the onion, the layers, and then what are you left with? You're left with a great person that you are. Number 5, continue setting goals, even though that can look differently now. When one dream has come to an end, that only makes another opportunity open up for another dream and goal you can set for yourself. This can be something so little as well as big. Go ahead and hit that.
Yeah, this one is also something that I approach daily, is why I put something as little, which even journaling. Journaling is something that I do every single day. It helps me get my thoughts out. I put 3 things that I want to do in that day, and then at night, say 3 positive things that have happened at the end, so you can go to sleep on a good note. And I also read 15 pages of an inspiring book every night. And so those are the little goals that I'm talking about that can really reach your mind in ways that you don't think can actually happen. It seems like stupid, you're just writing on a journal. But those unconscious thoughts that you don't really realize, they do make a difference. And then as well as like taking a different aspect of your life of what you want your future to look like and attacking those baby steps to get you there as well.
Such good stuff. What an episode. I'm so glad you could join the Survive and Thrive 87
Thank you so much.
91 crew today. Your story and how you managed to work through a tough decision is inspiring, and I already mentioned that. Your story reminds us all to have coping skills or mental health tools in the toolbox when a person is met with life's challenges. Despite that, you have survived and are thriving. Call to action. Avree Antony just shared her story and how she had to make the toughest decision in her life. She has endured and persevered. Here are Avree Antony's 5 suggestions that helped her survive and thrive. Number 1, let yourself feel every single emotion. Number 2, lean on the resources around you. Number 3, focus on the things that are in your control. Number 4, remember your worth isn't tied to your sport. And number 5, continue setting goals even though that can look differently now. Final thoughts as we close another great episode of Survive and Thrive 8791. Are there any final thoughts, Avree Antony?
I would just say make sure you're thanking everyone that has helped you throughout your journey or in using your resources. Like my parents, my boyfriend, my siblings, my friends have all got me through this. And I'm just very thankful for that. And so we need to make sure we're giving thanks back to them as well. And also DM me on Instagram, TikTok, whatever, about things like this and how if they are going through the same thing or if they need advice or just anyone to talk to, that I'm always there and you can reach out to me on whatever and I'm always here to talk.
Oh, you're, I think, might be the first person that has come on, although you are one of the younger guests that I've had in the Buck and Honey's remote studios to use your social media platform for not only helping yourself, but also helping others. And I think that is great. And yes, direct message Avree on Instagram, TikTok. I will put her contact information in the promo that will come out and reach out to her. And like I said, I'm going to be cheering for you from afar. And I hope that in 5 years or sooner, we can have you back on and just find out what Avree Antony is up to now. And hopefully it's walking the red carpet somewhere, modeling or in a movie or in a TV show, or maybe on the sideline, maybe a sideline reporter. I don't know if you said that one.
Okay,
but
yeah. No, I'm open to anything. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, this has been so awesome. On our next episode of Survive and Thrive 8791, we will have another amazing guest in the Buck and Honey's remote studios who will share how they learned to survive and thrive. If you have a story to share or you know someone who does, please reach out to me at tdecora@gmail.com. Until next time, hang in there with whatever you happen to be going through, and with hard work, dedication, and determination, you can survive and thrive. Until next time, take care.